Mr. Zuckerberg, would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
Yes, Mark Zuckerberg is socially awkward, but that was also an awkward question. And what about any of that makes him a robot? I want to explore that today and also teach you how you can be less socially awkward and learn from the things that Mark Zuckerberg does and doesn't do. Mark, don't let people define you and call you a robot. Because like the rest of us, you are human. Humans have emotional responses. And Zuck, he has those.
The part that was painful wasn't turning down the offer. It was the fact that after that, huge amounts of the company quit because they didn't believe in what we were doing.
Now maybe you don't want people to feel like you are a robot like Mark Zuckerberg. What can you do to help yourself? Well, I'll just tell you right away, you have to be willing to have a lot of humility. You have to be willing to laugh at yourself and the situation.
And is astronaut ice cream a real thing?
Relatability is more important than normality. You don't need to worry about being normal. You need to focus on being relatable, being someone that other people can understand and even empathize with.
I want to talk for a second about low points. I think it's always reassuring to hear that even Mark Zuckerberg went through some serious low points.
Being socially awkward is not always a bad thing. It can be endearing, so don't try to get rid of it if it's an aspect that you enjoy about yourself. But if it's something that you hate, these tips should help.
You know, there were real learning points and turning points along the way in terms of building things. You know, it really went from this position very early on where we were just in this college dorm room to we moved out to California. It was a few friends and me. And
there's one part of this entire thing that I think both I and Mark Zuckerberg suck at. And that's maintaining the momentum once you get it in a story. Now, storytelling is a key component of defeating social awkwardness. If you watch any of these interviews with Mark Zuckerberg, once he gets the audience's attention, he pretty much has them in his hand and he can mold them like clay. But he's still nervous about it because he knows that his story doesn't have a strong beginning, middle, and end. At some point, it will fall apart. And that, I guess just that idea makes him nervous throughout the storytelling process. I highly suggest that you, just like myself, work on telling stories to people. Now, if you don't want to be social, again, this is a video for people who want to learn how to be social and who want to conquer social awkwardness. You need to work on your storytelling. The better you are at holding things together from beginning, middle, and end, the better you'll be at being social and the less awkward you will seem.
I think if it's the right regulation, then yes.
You think the Europeans have it right?
I think that they get things right.
Have you ever submitted? That's true.
And I think Mark Zuckerberg is a prime example of someone who does this, but embrace the awkward. It's weird, it's uncomfortable, it's okay. You don't need to make things better than what they are because life is what it is. You take your lemons and you suck them, okay? Suck those lemons.
You all right?
Yeah.
This is a great moment in internet history.
what?
All right.
You are a human being, you have limitations, but being able to talk to people, even if it makes you stammer, even if it makes you nervous, is something you can deal with. I totally admit that it makes me nervous every time I have to talk to a stranger. It does, and yet I do it a lot because I know that if I don't keep myself trained, I'll fall out of habit and one day I'll just be back to my old ways of being afraid and hating people. This is often called awkward silence, where you just don't know what to say. Like you've made a lot of conversation, maybe you laughed once or twice, and now you don't know where to go. People often try to fill this awkward silence with more conversation, more nuance. And I think that a more effective way to handle this is to let the silence be. Don't try to fill dead space with conversation. When people are talking to you and the conversation dies, just let it die. I often feel like a lot of people who are socially awkward feel like an obligation to keep talking and keep things moving. It's not your obligation. Once that part of the conversation dies, just let it die. If it's just you and one other person, just, it's okay to let it die. Even call it out. Go, hey, honestly, I don't know what to do when this kind of stuff happens. I don't have anything else to say. Yeah, me either. And then you guys will organically work on building that next part of the talk. You don't need to force it. Forcing it makes it more awkward. My uncle who passed away recently, he wanted me to call him before, he passed away. But he and I didn't talk a lot. We weren't super close. And the idea of picking up a phone and calling him felt foreign and weird to me. And because of that, I didn't get a chance to really talk to him before everything was over. I don't want to see anybody else let awkwardness leave regret in their lives. If you want more advice, I've got a playlist right here and more videos coming up. I do videos here every Monday and Wednesdays I do live streams at 8 p.m. Central. I'll see you then. Amber, you teleport.